Morning, everyone. My name is Dennis Trainor. I'm the chair of the Joint Authority and Canal Corporation's Audit Committee. Welcome members John Koelmel, Michael Cusick, Lewis Warren Jr., and Laurie Wheelock. Welcome NYPA staff members who are participating. This is a scheduled committee meeting which has been duly noticed as required by the Open Meetings Law. I now call this regular meeting to order. We will begin with the adoption of the agenda. First,
I'd move that we amend the agenda. I see we have an executive session included. We typically do that on completion of the audit. So I'd move we amend the agenda to defer the executive session with KPMG until March or April, whenever we're back together.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. And I'll ask Salman Ali, Senior Vice President, Internal Audit, to present the 2025 Internal Audit Update on the next item.
Good morning. Good morning, trustees, member of the public, NYPA colleagues. It's a pleasure to be here to present you with the December update on internal audit. Today, I'll be focusing on a few areas: execution of our 2025 audit plan, observation trends and remediation status across NYPA, Canals, and EHNS. We'll go through required CAE communications and share results from our quality assurance and improvement program, and then we'll end with our 2025 budget status and our proposed 2026 budget. So with that, we'll get right in. So as you can see, this is our audit execution scorecard. Overall, we're tracking well against our KPIs. Just for your understanding, our plan runs from March to April. So we're about 75% through the plan at this point. As of November, we have issued 18 audits, which covers about 43% of the plan. Obviously, we've issued some other reports since then. At this point, about 75% of the audit plan is either completed or actively underway. And we are targeting to be wrapping up by March of next year. Our audit utilization, which is our auditors and their utilization, is about 77%, well above our target. Our project life cycle is consistent in terms of prior years, reflecting execution of our processes and getting our audits out on time. Good news to share is that we don't have any high-rated observation at this point. And our percentage of deliverables to opinion is pacing well above our target. And I'll provide you an update on the QIP program as well and what commitments we've made to improve our department. So we'll get into the observations. We're observation closure rate remains strong across NYPA, Canals, and EHNS. I'm glad to share the high-rate observation we had discussed in July. We have closed that observation. That was around the SOC process. So, that finding has been fully remediated and closed, and foundational controls are in place. I want to give a big kudos to Adam and John Canal and his team to bring that to closure. And we'll continue to look at the SOX process as we do more reviews over third parties. There are no overdue observation and no extensions. Again, I want to commend management to,
Bravo. Way to go,
yes.
management. Way to go.
Yeah. Obviously we remain in close contact with all the senior leaders to, work with them on how to bring these items to closure. So we have increased our partnership just to kind of keep a pulse on things. They are slipping. We have RAG ratings on at risk, at caution, and on track, which we share with management, and that helps get visibility on where these items are. I would say, overall, this reflects, in my view, strong risk culture and collaboration with the management on timely remediation of these observations. So yeah, I'll pause for any questions. Next slide. This is just another view or a cut off. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but this shows observations, again, like I mentioned, most of the observations, have been closed on time or have closed ahead of time, no extensions, and, most of the work is in progress. We do have some work from 2024. I would say about, 77% of our observations have been closed. Again, it's 2024 because we had audits which were going on in 2025 because our plan ends in April. So these are audits which were kicking off or were in the process of being conducted in 2025. So go to the next slide, please. This is another cut. This is for EH&S. Good news is, we haven't had any observation in this space. Again, we are conducting reviews within health and safety. This is a big area of focus for us, working quite closely with Joe and his team in terms of some of their efforts and some of the work they have done to ensure, safety and compliance with OSHA and other standards. Go to the next slide. So as part of our...
Before you jump to
Yes.
that, so editorialize a bit for us, stats and slides aside, just give us your perspective on where we find ourselves as we continue to evolve and grow, and new responsibilities and new roles and changes. Control environment, you obviously feel very good about it. We're not seeing any cracks, anything that gives you or your team, concern that we should be aware of then?
No, I would say, we have been able to bring high risk issues. Some of those were obviously a big concern in the past, so we have been able to close those items out. I would say, no concerns on our end. I think, we're trending definitely in a good way. I think there's a strong partnership with risk and with IBC, so we're working with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know Alexis has the risk liaison program, so that's giving some dividends as well, because you've got risk liaison which are helping management remediate some of these items. I would say looking forward, obviously there is a big focus on renewables, nuclear. We're gearing up for that. So that's an area where we want to grow expertise within the team and subject matter experts. So we're looking at how do we look at, from a skills perspective, what we need to bring onto the team, or through outside help to help assess those areas and be experts when we look at that.
Any concerns you have, so renewables is, we further lean into that. Obviously, nuclear, we're very much on the front end, but as renewables starts to get more traction, any concern that we're stretching, pushing the envelope, or stretching our capacity or competency from a control standpoint?
I would say not at this point, Chairman. We do have an update on NIRAD later on today, so we'll share a bit more. With the reviews we have conducted so far, we haven't noted any kind of major issues. We were able to actually close one of the items we had noted on. There's right now there's just summer solar is one of the portfolio, but as the portfolio grows, we will then adjust our resources to accommodate. Okay, right now we have one partner that may extend to a few, so we'll have to be agile and dedicated resources. So from my perspective, I need to kind of get up, working obviously with Chris Hudson and his team to look at what's in the horizon, and then how do we look at it and make sure that we have the appropriate resources and the audits on the plan to assess the risk.
Well, I'll stay with that point from a audit resource standpoint. Yeah, how do you foresee having to further round out or expand, adjust the team to ensure you're at least keeping pace, if not ideally a step ahead?
Yeah. So we are looking at, so we have open positions at this point. So we're looking at renewables and nuclear as one of the expertise we want to hire for. We'll provide I have an update on the budget as well in terms of what our current headcount is. But that's one of the things from a resource perspective. We have a strong talent pool in-house, but we also have good partners with Deloitte and others who we can tap into if we
Bring in
need
the subject matter experts.
if we need that help. Yeah.
So nothing keeping you up at night at this point.
No.
Your questions.
Okay. All right. But he's gonna sleep well. That was very good answer. I'm done. Then I don't want to be the source of anyone's tossing and turning.
No.
I'm not worth tossing and turning over.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's duly noted.
So these are communication required by our IA standards. As a CAE, I confirm that internal audit remains independent and free of any impairment of objectivity. I also confirm, our work is performed in accordance with the highest standards as per the new global internal audit standards. And all required communications under the standards covering ethics, quality, and governance has been made to the audit committee and senior management. So these are just disclosures. We can go to the next slide around quality, conformance with standards, meeting with the board on a regular basis, communicating results, and conducting internal quality assessment. I'll share more details on the assessment as well. Go to the next slide. So as part of our ongoing work we do, QIP is a very important aspect. As you recall, we did a independent assessment last year. We shared external party, and we share the results, but we continue to do internal assessment every year. Great news to share is that our internal assessment confirmed a generally conforms rating, which is the highest rating as per the IA standards. But we are implementing new standards. So the GIS published new standards in January of this year, and there's opportunities for us to implement further alignment with those standards and what we're doing currently. So focus areas for us is going to be implementing an impairment tracker. So this is just to track within the team if there's any impairment. This is something we do kind of informally track, if there's been a staff who is had a family member or they were auditing the area, they're coming into the business. So this is something we want to formalize and have a tracker to maintain any track record of employees or staff we have to ensure we are in compliance with that requirement. The other element is assurance map. That wasn't a requirement, so we're partnering with IBC and with risk to implement the assurance map. And then finally, the new standards call for a review of the ethics program. So that's going to be something when I publish the report on the audit plan, is going to be adding a ethics program. We do look at ethics, but this is a specific ask from the IA to look at that ethics program.
I can ask, what's an assurance map? What is it strategically, and what is it meant to focus on?
Yeah, great question. So assurance map is really a mapping of what the organization collectively, if you think about the first line, which is the business, the second line, which is risk and internal controls, and audit, what they're doing. And it kind of maps out all the assurance activities which are going on. So we do audits, which areas we're looking at, right? Cybersecurity does a lot of assessments, RNCNC and third-party risk. So everyone is looking at risk in a different lens. So this is basically creating really a kind of a mapping of what the organization is doing, and it gives us an organization a good view of maybe there's areas where we need to focus on. Maybe there's certain areas where we aren't looking at, and there's maybe some blind spots. So that's really the purpose of an assurance map. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and that gets shared with management as well.
Correct. So we're working with risk and with IBC to develop that insurance map, and that will be shared once that's concluded. Yep. Great question. So if we go to the next slide, I think that concludes this part. Again, in summary, internal audit continues to execute with discipline, with transparency, and align with our strategic objective, the vision 2020-2030 renewed, And I want to thank, management and audit committee for their continued support.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think the next one is the budget. Tee up the budget slide. Or is that?
Chris, what we got going over there? Oh, okay. Yeah. You and Paul together, I thought you could have worked this out.
You're tough.
Just trying to fill the downtime, Louis, just trying to fill. It's like a commercial break,
It's the audience.
Right. So I'll walk you through the 2025 budget performance and then the proposed 2026 internal audit budget for your review and approval. So just to kind of share, as of November 21st, our year-to-date budget utilization is about 79%. We expect to finish actually lower than our budget, around 85 to 90%. We did have some savings. That was primarily due to portions of our GRC replatforming and our audit observation tool, and obtaining new AI licenses and cloud licenses. That work was moved to 2026 to align with the work Rob and his team, are doing with the modern data platform and the AI initiative. And we'll provide a little bit more in terms of, what we're budgeting for 2026. So we're coming, we'll probably be at around 30% for software maintenance. Audit consulting is a good story to share. We've seen early success in building internal capacity and filling key roles, which has reduced our reliance, right? So we're about 50% at this point. That I think kudos to the recruiting team to help us fill those roles. So I know in December, same time last year, I talked about about $550,000 savings. We're coming to around $630K, and we're looking at sustaining the recruitment efforts, as we kind of grow our team to for some of the newer initiatives. So that's again great story to tell in terms of the overall budget for this year. We're tracking well under. Pause for any questions.
I guess my question is, you've done super well in not spending the allocated budget for outside consulting.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that you're concerned about that you've not been able to do because you're under budget?
No concerns. I think we've been tactful and strategic in terms of how we spend that. In the past, we had spent some of that money on just kind of, just some of the low-hanging fruit, some of the non-subject matter expertise work. We've been, specifically focused on bringing in external providers for doing subject matter expert work. So in this world of cybersecurity or EHS, and then we've been able to also fill the roles we've had. So we have them at our disposal. It hasn't resulted in any, I would say, gaps in the current process.
Yeah, it's great to hear you've been able to attract the talent that you want and need. I mean, for years, we were up against it and unable to do that. Hence that outsourced, number just continued to creep. So
yeah,
that's great to hear. I don't know what the external trend is, or if it's all about NIPA and the opportunity we offer, combination of both, but that's great news.
Yeah. I mean, we've been able to tap into, our obviously recruiting efforts. That's been, and also changing our recruiting efforts and how we recruit people, and being more flexible in terms of our job requirements. They were very stringent in the past, so we were able to kind of bring in the talent. I always say you can teach audit, right? Expertise is something which is really hard to seek. Yeah.
Terrific.
So getting into the 2026 numbers. So we are proposing a overall budget of 7.6, and there's a reduction from about a 3% reduction from current budget. This budget really supports our efforts to modernize internal audit, deepen our capabilities, recruit, have some open position, and deliver more through technology, right? So we're doubling down on our efforts on looking at technology, looking at analytics, working with IT to develop our own platform where we can do more substantive testing. We are looking at increasing our payroll and benefits, and that's primarily because of open positions and a new position we have created around AI and innovation. So this is really to support our growing in-house team and additional efforts we want to make in analytics and innovation. Software maintenance, this is another area where we are budgeting more because obviously we had some work we didn't do in 2025, and there's significant investment we're making in our GRC platform, automation, and implementing AI-enabled tools. So we're partnering with Deloitte, with Gartner, with Rob's team in technology to build some of those in-house capabilities. Audit consulting, we are, as I mentioned, right, we are, our shift is towards internal delivery and, look at, core sourcing, for specialized needs or surge needs. So, that's where we end up with our overall ask. So with that, if there's no question, I request approval for this year.
I recommend we give you an extra 12 cents for payroll, so you don't have to manage that right to the penny. I think we can afford to round that up.
Thank you.
Want to make sure you sleep well.
Stop the questions.
Happy to move approval of the 2026 budget
Is there a second?
with the additional 12 cents included.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Christy Angelo from KPMG to present their update.
Not like to hear that you're approving higher budgets.
Yeah.
12
12 cents.
I didn't hear that part.
I'm a round number guy, That was after coming in under budget, so.
Oh,
Yeah, see,
I mean,
you
that's
gotta
never
give some
happened
to
to me.
get some, so.
Good morning, everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Christy Angelo, audit partner with KPMG. With me is Ryan Givens, senior manager. Thank you all for letting us to present at the meeting this morning. A few things before we get into our required disclosures. This is my second year that I'll be signing the KPMG audit report with NYPA. From a personal standpoint, very excited to be partnering with NYPA in a pretty exciting time right now with the projects that are being worked on from renewables, nuclear. We're more than just an audit firm. We provide advisory services, tax services as well, and happy that we're able to provide other services in addition to our external audit and helping with some of the renewable projects with the SAP implementation as well. So great collaboration in addition to our external audit. My number one priority is a high quality audit, maintaining our independence. We're achieving all that, but the fact that we can partner as well with some other services lends to the great collaboration we have between KPMG and the Power Authority. So thank you for that. From an external audit perspective, Ryan will take you through the details of the slides. We were joking about it before the meeting, but it's something that we are pretty focused on is continuing to leverage more and more technology every single year. You hear the buzzwords out there in terms of AI, data and analytics. We're certainly every single year, we're trying to do a little bit more from a technology perspective that helps our audit to be a little bit less intrusive, a little less impact on Power Authority employees, where if we're able to leverage technology, that allows us to do less interaction and let everyone do their day job. So it's a journey for us. Like I said, every single year, we're trying to do a little bit more. I don't know if we have slides on that per se, but it's something that I'm focused on to make sure that we're leveraging the best, most advanced technologies here with regards to our audit.
Where do you see the efficiency versus effectiveness balance with AI? Obviously, there's efficiency components, but does it make you guys that much more effective or?
Well, it changes what our, in particular, our lower level staff do. So back in my day, when I was a first and second year staff, I'm making copies, I'm taking invoices to purchase orders to shipping documents. That can generally be done by technology now. So that our lower level staff in particular, they're looking not less about taking these pieces of documents together. They're looking at the outliers of understanding why didn't they, and then trying to root cause it. And we're more focused on the exceptions instead of, chances are the vast majority of things are going to work as they should. Us as an audit firm, we can now focus on why it didn't work and understand, does that make sense to us?
Okay.
So with that,
Okay.
pass it over to Ron.
Thanks, Chris. Hello, everyone. Okay, so now I'll take you through some of our slides. This one here, just showing you that, like I'll echo what Chris said. We have a great relationship with the Power Authority management. We try to, open communication as we go through our audit work. We try to accelerate our work as much as we can, get things out of the traditional busy season at the end of at the beginning of next year. And then with that, I'll go through some of our required communications. First, I'll take you through the deliverables. Not much has changed on here. We'll issue our auditor's report over the consolidated financial statements as of December 31st, 25. Within that includes the standard New York Power Authority, the Canal Corporation, the separately financed projects, NYPRA Captive Insurance Company, as well as the New York Renewables NYRED. Next, continue. There you go. We also issue a report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance, as well as a report on the authority's investment compliance to comply with New York state law. And then if applicable, we will issue a report on compliance with requirements under the uniform guidance relating to federal expenditures of rewards. And those are our deliverables for this year. Now we can skip through. Following slide. Here we go. So some of these are our required communications. Like I said, we'll issue our audit opinion over the financial statements for 2025, not only in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted under the U.S., as well as the government auditing standards as the power authorities under the New York State realm. As we mentioned, Chris will continue as your lead audit partner, and then I'll get into some of the other required communications on the following slides. So we can go forward. Here we have your client service team. As you can see, a lot of blue is continuing team members throughout the years. We do have another audit support partner to help out with Chris. His name is Nick DiVirgilio. He'll just continue, into the process and work through some of the higher level accounting issues. Next slide. Here, I'll take you through some of the materiality in the context of our audit, just basically stating that we audit to a threshold of materiality using qualitative and quantitative considerations, and make sure that we are auditing at a increased scope, where, as like Chris mentioned, we're not looking into the nitty gritty details, but also making sure that we're auditing the actual details of the financial statements and what the committee and management actually care about at this point. Next slide. Now I'll take you through our timeline. As you can see, April and June, we kind of do a planning and debrief on the prior year audit, see what worked, see what didn't work, how can we continue, improve for the following year, the audit process. July through September, really the summer months, we do more of a planning and risk assessment, kind of get an update from management, seeing how the year is going, if there's any change to our audit approach. And then the fall timeframe, where about as now, we'll communicate our audit plan and work through some of our interim audit procedures. We're actually in the process of that now, where we make some samples through the 9 months ended 9/30, just to get a head start on some of that accelerated work. And then January through March is really our year-end time period, where we'll do majority of our substantive audit procedures. We'll inquire with management over any important areas that we should be aware of, and review the financial statements, disclosures, and then issue the final audit deliverables at the end of March. So now I'll take you through a significant risk identified here at NIPA, this is a standard risk throughout all entities. It's the risk of management override of controls, just because management is in that unique position to elicit fraud if, with the opportunity. To mitigate that risk, we do perform risk assessment procedures over all journal entry level details. We inquire with management and the committee, as you may have remember. We look through any accounting bias, any estimate bias that comes from management, and we ensure that management has a good level of internal controls to I guess address and mitigate this risk. We perform a roll forward of all journal entries throughout the year from January 1st to 12/31, and make sure that there's anything high risk related we look at and we identify and ensure that it's within the appropriate level of consent. Next slide. We do have some others involved in our audit. I'll take you through some of them. We engage our national pricing desk to test the valuation of the OPEB plan, the plan assets. We engage an actuarial specialist to test the OPEB, the post-employment benefits, and the pension liabilities. We employ KPMG tax. We work with them they provide a tax review for us to make sure that the power authority is still within the tax exempt status. And then we do elicit some assistance from NIPA's internal audit, just making sure that we're aligned with them as the year moves on and going forward. Next slide. While we don't perform a cybersecurity audit, we do like to keep this slide in here just to make sure that the committee understands that we do perform inquiries with management relating to cybersecurity, whether there's been any incidents or breaches throughout the year. As well as if anything has changed in the risk profile, if there's any increased risk there, we will, like I said, inquire with management just to, confirm our understanding of the cybersecurity considerations. Next slide. Here we have the newly effective accounting standards from GASB. More so you have the GASB number 102, certain risk disclosures, and then 103 and 104 will be effective next year. All three of these are really more of cleanup GASBs that the GASB put forward, just to improve the disclosure requirements for the actual financials themselves. We don't expect any significant impact other than just disclosures within the financial statements and making them more robust. Here I'll just reiterate that we are an independent firm. We're independent of NIPA, and we just want to make sure that we have that continued relationship and making sure that management and KPMG are remaining cognizant of our requirement to be independent going forward between our staff and management. Here are some of our responsibilities, just our shared responsibilities between KPMG and management. It just goes into some of the other items we iterated earlier. Communication, making sure that we're communicating effectively, and so on. And this slide should look familiar. We keep this in here as a reminder. These are our required inquiries that I spoke about earlier. We will meet with members of management to ask these questions and ensure that we have a good understanding of anything, any fraudulent act, any non-compliance, any changes to the risk profile, as well as usually in the executive session, we ask that, the committee bring anything of this nature to our attention, as they see fit. And that concludes our presentation. We do have some appendices in the back, just thought leadership and focus areas for the committee, just as we go through the year, and we will continue our audit, as we go. So thank you, everybody. Any questions?
John, so far so good. Nothing that is giving you pause or concern in the early going.
Not at this time, nope.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well done. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
There was no vote required for that update. The consent agenda is now before the members for adoption. I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next meeting of the audit committee is scheduled to be held on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. I ask for a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.